Welcome to the Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew and let's get to the show.
Hi, my Mr. American Pie. Ever to the level won't dry. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I realized right before I started singing, I meant to sing a John Denver song in honor of going to Denver. That's not John Denver. I apologize to Don McLean. Sorry, sir, if you're watching. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker, and it's Friday, and I got Rusty with me. How are you, brother? You good?
I'm good, man. A little sleepy, it was a quick, and we'll talk more about it here in a little bit. It's been a wild week of travels and turnarounds and all that, but we're doing good this morning, all things considered. I was talking to my neighbor this morning, getting the newspaper before the show, and he's apparently started a cult. It's really hard to get in, though. It's a difficult.
Man, these are always great because they always start. I'm like, I'm worried about you, Rusty. You live around some weird people, and then it's like, it's just a joke. Love it, man. Yeah. You know who? Well, I have no transition for what transpired last night. Transpired. Other than that alliteration, I was gonna try to make a cult reference, but I don't know. The Grizzlies lost last night, 141 to 125 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Bummer of a game. The first half. I mean, we went into halftime up 70 to 69, 70 to 68. And then it just kind of was the third quarter we got smashed. Got absolutely smashed. And I don't know where you want to start. Where I want to start with you specifically, because we've not gotten a chance to talk about this, is how much we missed Jalen Wells in this game. I believe, after I had this pulled up and I lost it, after having Ant locked up he went 8 of 19 in one of those games that Jalen played, and then he went 4 of 13 in the other one. We just didn't really have an answer for Anthony Edwards last night, and it was quite the bummer to watch.
Yeah, it was the third quarter, man. And I flew in yesterday. I traveled a lot, so I went to bed in the third quarter when it was getting out of hand. I was like, I'll watch the rest this morning. So I got up and I did, and kind of glad I did. Minnesota went for 52 in the third quarter on 18 to 21 shooting, just complete defensive collapse. And there's a lot of blame to go around. Vince being hurt and missing the majority of the season. I just don't know that he's what we thought he was going to be, or if the injury is truly holding him back. I won't completely throw the baby out with the bathwater there. Jaren's energy is off. I think a lot of his is frustration. The team's falling apart. He's cost himself a lot of money with the injury and some of his play down the stretch. It's, he's not going to get that massive contract that he thought. Because all NBA is definitely, I've seen him pop up on some third teams, but it's clearly affecting his play. And it's sad that we missed a rookie as much as we did. You're absolutely right. Jalen Wells was that guy that you could throw on another scorer and lock him up or at least slow him down. And last night we saw that we missed him. There was not that defensive perimeter guy that could slow down Ant. And in the third quarter, it especially showed it.
Yeah, and not from lack of trying. We were trying our damnedest. I think that he was. I think Tomas was trying to see whatever he had that would stick. Vince played 18, Santi played 30, Jitty's played 7, Lamar Stevens only played 4. And I don't know. And Jitty wasn't playing bad. He whacked his head really hard on the court, and we didn't see him the entire second half. I don't know. None of it. We didn't have an answer for Ant last night, and if that's what it's going to be like, where we're struggling to find someone to throw at the other team's best player, it's going to be tough.
It is, especially defensive effort across the board.
Yes.
Minnesota, Drew's right. Minnesota deserves a ton of credit. They shot the ball lots out, especially in the second half. But a lot of that's just perimeter defense continues to be an issue. And Marcus Smart keeps popping up on Twitter. He was not the answer. The guy wasn't playing, and when he was awful. but we're going to need somebody else besides Jalen Wells. Like most teams have multiple stoppers, and apparently our only one that can stop runs right now is Jalen Wells, because last night we could do nothing with Ant. We could do nothing with Minnesota when they were just filling it up from a perimeter standpoint. You know, Ja's defense was terrible last night. Santi was a revolving door. Vince was not that guy. Like there's a lot to go around for sure.
Yeah, and I will say credit to Tomas because he's I think we were talking about this in our group chat offline. You know, if dudes don't have it, he's not playing them. You know, like he's not Luke, who's not had it. Vince didn't have it last night. He's not had it. He played Scotty 32 minutes, and Scotty's had it lately. You know, like it's Tomas knows the guys that he. It seems that we know who Tomas trusts, which is like,
yeah. And you know, the guys that like last night, like Pip was a -2, Ja -3, Edie -3, and a plus-minus in a blowout loss, like single digit plus-minus like that shows the guys that had it. They were playing hard. Yeah, Edie came down to earth a little bit with his numbers, but he was a good defender last night. Like he was defending the paint well. He was in the way. He defensively, like he still didn't play awful. Yeah, he didn't fill up the stat sheet like he has against other teams recently, but he still had a good game last night. Ja had 36 points, 6 assists. You know, he played well offensively.
Des played well.
Des played well in the second quarter, especially. He just was just lighting it up, finishing with 28. But it was just, again, like it's defensive effort. And I still stand on the hill that I don't know that Tomas is the guy, because we got to get somebody that's going to get that defensive effort out of this crew. And so far, I haven't seen a ton of change in that area.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen more effort from the guys, but it's not necessarily translating to actual numbers or wins on the defensive side of the ball, which is kind of a bummer.
And then you got John Goble, who calls the most fouls against the Memphis Grizzlies out of any team.
God.
Rudy Gobert on every screen was getting full extension, full checks into Santi, into Pip. It didn't matter. Gobert could do nothing last night to earn a foul, and it showed. I mean, that was another big difference in the game. I'm not blaming the rest because our effort on defense was terrible, but anytime you get John Goble calling a game for the Grizzlies, it's going to be a long night.
It was nasty too. I mean, there were just dirty work. Well said. We don't want to dwell on it because we didn't. There were other reasons we didn't win. It wasn't just because because of the whistle. But I don't want to. We don't have to talk too much more about this game because I need like a printer. Do people still have printers? What's the standings report? I think it's worth looking into this before we talk about the game tonight because I hate having to do this. It makes my anxiety goes like every time. Right now, if the playoffs ended today, the Oklahoma City Thunder would be the 1 seed, the Rockets would be the 2 seed, Lakers 3 seed. Denver, the 4 seed, Clippers, the 5 seed. Golden State jumped us. They're now the 6 seed. We are the 7 seed. Minnesota is still the 8 seed. Now, the seeding, all that to say, Denver, Clippers each have 48 wins. Us, the Golden State, and the Timberwolves each have 47 wins. This is nuts. And all that to say, we play the Denver Nuggets tonight. Last night would have gone a long way to helping relieve a little bit of stress from my life about these standings. Alas, we did not win. We still are ahead of Minnesota with that tiebreaker, which is really nice. But you have to win. You have to win tonight. I don't really know.
We've done it to ourselves again. 3 straight 1 possession loss. 2 losses out of 3 to Brooklyn. Losing to Chicago. Like, tell me the regular season doesn't matter, you nerds, because we're in a position now because we've stumbled throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
We put ourselves between a rock and a hard place because not only did we play Minnesota last night, we play at Denver tonight, but we didn't get to Denver until the wee hours of the morning. We got to rest up for a high altitude game tonight. This is a schedule loss if I've ever seen one. And I don't this is bad news bears, no pun intended, for the Memphis Grizzlies because of that quick turnaround, high altitude. The Nuggets are fighting for their life, playing a bit more free without,
their head coach.
With Mike Malone, almost said Karl Malone, without Mike Malone. And it's just, it's a recipe for disaster, Luke. And people keep saying this is best case scenario, right? We play the Rockets if we finish as the 7th seed and we might can win that series. Bro, I don't know that we can win a single series. I don't know with our defensive effort and where we're at. I don't know that we are going to win any playoff series, much less a play-in game. But, I mean, that's where we are. Like Tom Petty, we've been free-falling, and we've hit the bottom just about.
I just don't want to be in a situation where it's a one game you're in or you're out against Minnesota when we don't have anybody that can stop Ann Edwards. It terrifies me.
Yeah, it does. And just without any kind of defensive identity, without your rookie defender, it's scary. I don't know that that's going to work out in our favor. And then we'll finish as the 8th seed, let's say, because let's say we beat the winner of the 9-10 game. And then we get swept by Oklahoma City, and that's going to be ugly. The way this team is playing defensively, I don't want any part of a 4-game series because that's what it'll be with Oklahoma City.
It's my God. I mean, I've been saying I want to see postseason basketball. I don't know if I want to.
And I've been on that, right?
Yeah,
agreed. I'm like, give me more basketball. Like losing sucks, and tanking is for losers, and all that kind of stuff. And I still stand by that, but it's going to be ugly.
Yep. Shout out David White. I see this. Maybe this is what's wrong with our defense. Maybe it's muscle memory, and
we've wasted 2 seasons because of Taylor Jenkins. Last year, he got a pass because of injuries, and his buffoonery was overlooked, and then we struggled with it the entirety of this season. Yeah, man. Like, yes, there are some talent disparities. After our big 3, we see that. We're also now in a bind where we're not going to be able to make a ton of moves to go get some talent to replace that. But these guys, like, again, the muscle memory is great. That's a great perspective.
It might. I mean, we've got a lot of. Shout out everybody. Thank you all for being in the comments today. We got Uncle Buck says Nugs by 40. Mm-hmm. Grizz Girl said it's going to be a tall task. It's going to be a lot tonight.
It is. This keeps coming up a lot. I think the most disappointing thing about these 2 players is their injuries, Luke, because their injuries timing was a nightmare. Gigi lost all of fall camp and the start of the season. Vince missed the entirety of the season, and that goes a long way with young players, right? Like that's a whole season loss for both these guys in a developmental year. With Gigi, the sophomore slump is a real thing. We've seen that time and time again in the NBA. But I think injuries derailed Vince and Gigi more than anything else. The talent's there, but I think injuries is what slowed them down.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you replay this season over several times. Mm-hmm. We might not be disappointed in either of them. They might not be having the same impact as we were expecting just because of the emergence of Jalen and other issues. But I don't think that we would be saying, because it's effectively 2 lost seasons. And yeah, sure. It's expectations.
Yeah, I was super big on Gigi. I'll own that. And I
was big on Vince.
A little bit. Yeah, I thought that Gigi was going to have that breakout year continue. And he had a sophomore slump. It is what it is.
Yeah, I was on here. I wrote one of my favorite articles I've ever written. I need to stop writing art. You know what? I haven't written in a while. This is probably a good thing because I wrote that. Said you're welcome. I said Luke Kennard was going to be a 6th man of the year, and then I said Vince Williams was going to be an all defensive team this year, which he was playing like it. I'm still saying it can happen.
Injuries is what derailed Vince this year more than anything.
100%. I mean, I remember talking with you on the show about about his ankle and how it potentially could have been severely worse than it was,
Yeah, and I said that it could be a thing that bothers him the rest of the year because a grade 3 is truly almost worst case scenario. I mean, you get tearing of the ligaments and ankles are inherently unstable, and then you add a ligament tear in there, and now it's an unstable joint that's more unstable. And so, I still don't think he's 100%. Not making excuses because his play has been bad, but you can tell that that ankle still bothers him.
You can just tell he's not moving with as much I don't know what that
exactly
is. Growl, bite. Let's move on a little bit because I don't want to talk about tonight's game. It's going to be, thank God it's not as late as yesterday, but
Denver's a 7-point home favorite.
Damn.
I don't know. They beat us the last time we played them. We played them in that not back to back, but 2 games apart.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, Sunday, I think it was, and we lost. We beat them 105-90, lost 122-10. Both of those in Memphis. I just
maybe Russ plays hero ball. Maybe that's what I want. Maybe Russ feels like he needs to will this team into the postseason. That'd be dope. We're gonna say that. We're gonna talk very briefly. Well, maybe not very briefly. I tried to talk about this yesterday. I got a little bit. You mentioned that Jaren has cost some of his play down the stretch. I would agree. I don't think he's probably played himself out of the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I don't want to talk about Draymond Green because I don't like him. Let's talk the other guys. I like Lou Dort. I like Dyson Daniels. I like Evan Mobley. This is more of a two-part conversation because all defensive teams, with these guys, I still think Jaren makes an all-defensive team.
Agreed.
Okay, I was like,
Agreed.
are we aligned there?
Agreed.
So who do you think makes the rest of these teams? Because I'd rather talk about the defensive teams and talk about the Defensive Player of the Year, especially since Jaren's not going to win it, and especially since it's all kind of up in the air since Wemby got hurt. And it's just annoying how Draymond went on a podcast and said, "I want to beat DPOY," and now he's all of a sudden the front runner. And like the other night against Tuesday, Wednesday night, whatever. I think it was San Antonio. Yeah, they were like hunting Draymond at the end of the game and getting him in matchups and burying Golden State. So like the guy shouldn't win. He's going to because he asked for it and because the NBA is a joke. But that's all I'm going to say. Defensive teams. I like Dort. I like Mobley. Dyson Daniels is great. A great guard that's just in passing lanes. I mean, I think that's and Jaren I think could be your all defensive team. Yeah, right. I agree with you. I think that. I actually found once I started looking at it, it was pretty easy for me to get that first team, all defensive team. Because I was like, all these guys I would really like to win Defensive Player of the Year other than Draymond.
Yeah, basically.
Like, it's kind of nice. I don't want to talk.
Another guy that's not getting a lot of love that should be on there is Zubac from the Clippers. He's kind of lower down, but he has been dominant in the paint this year, a walking double-double. Teams do not drive on him, and I think he's a guy that's not getting enough love that should also make the all-NBA team, or all-defensive team over Draymond. You know what? I'm glad you brought him up because seeing the season that Zubac is having this year gives me a little hope for what Edey might be able to turn into. Like we may have Zubac at home. We'll see how the cookie crumbles, but I like the way he's played this year. Yeah. The point being, when you're looking at these all defensive teams, when our team is clicking on all cylinders, man, we've got some dogs. Like you've got Jaren, Jalen's shown that he could be on an all defensive team one of these days. I think Jalen and Edey both have shown that they'll be on an all defensive team before it's all said and done. 100%. Preach, and it's just pumpkin, man. I mean, come on. Tell me you didn't watch the game without telling me you didn't watch the game. The numbers weren't there, but the effort and defensive, especially from Zach Edey, was. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Enough basketball because how's Augusta, sir? You got the hat on. You got to go. I just want to ISO for you for a second. I just want to hear how it was, man. For those of you who don't know, Rusty was at the Masters in Augusta, Georgia, where the truest grass there ever was, real grass. And I just want to hear how it was, sir. Yeah. I'll start with like Jim Nance. Hello, friends. It was amazing, man. It really was. Like, it has a magic to it that I don't know that I've ever seen anywhere else. I'm there with thousands of my closest friends, and it's quiet. There's no hollering. There's no like you could talk and have conversations. Everybody's there being nice. The staff is the nicest, most friendly people you ever meet. But the golf course is just unbelievable. Like there's no really way to describe how beautiful it truly is. Like looking in Amen Corner in the green there at 11. Walking the fairways, like that grass is how grass is supposed to feel. And we saw so many people. Nomar Garcia-Parra, saw him. Like a childhood hero of mine, loved Nomar, saw him. Scott Van Pelt was there. Ran into Jim Furyk. Was Ken Griffey Jr., is he taking pictures? I think I saw on the Twitter that he's a credentialed photographer. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Brother, if I'd have seen Griffey, I would have. God, I figured I was gonna. You talk about like he's the reason I wear my hat backwards, and I had his posters all over the walls, man, all over the walls growing up. But it was really cool, man, and like the food lived up to the hype. I ate probably like a dozen Minter and cheese sandwiches, egg salad sandwiches. They had these peach ice cream sandwiches with sugar cookies, and they were like the sandwiches like $1.50. Beers were like $6. Like the food was really cheap, but they make up for it in the gift shop. I read this. My buddy that I went with sent me this yesterday. They make $10 million a day. in the gear in the pro shop. Luke,
What?
that's $16,000 a minute. Trust me, I contributed my fair share, getting me some stuff and some requests that I have from some others. But however cheap their food is, the apparel is not. I just like I can't say enough superlatives about it. Just how like it was cool too. Like you can't take your phone in. No phones are allowed. And I brought a GoPro to take pictures, but because it takes video, they wouldn't let me take that either. And so I got to truly just immerse myself in the experience and appreciate Augusta. And like it was awesome. Golf wise, we watched the par 3 tournament, which was really cool. We got to see like Scotty Scheffler, my guy Max Homa, Ludwig Oberg, who finished second last year. Got to watch him. Yeah. Got to see Gary Player. Like there was a lot of guys that were playing. It was cool to see a lot of those guys you watch on TV in the par 3 tournament, which was awesome. We got to see the skip it hole where they try and skip it up on the green.
Yeah.
And at the par 3 tournament, like their families are their caddies. So all their kids and wives and all that were there. It was a really cool experience. Wednesday is like an underrated day to go because you get practice round in the morning, par 3 tournament in the afternoon. And it was truly awesome. Truly awesome.
I was going to say like Wednesday sounds like it might be the day to go because it doesn't sound that stressful.
Yeah,
not that the environment sounds stressful at all. It actually sounds quite lovely. What you're describing, it sounds beautiful. I'm just sitting here like, oh my god.
I mean, it was, man. Like I can't say enough about how great the experience truly was. But like the energy level now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously is going to be completely different. And so like you get to see the practice round. We got to see my favorite golfer is Tony Finau. I got to watch him practice a little bit. But at the par 3 tournament, they were still having fun, right? Like Max Homa's kid almost ran in the pond on every single green. Like he's a little tot, probably 2 years old, maybe just like almost running in the pond. Like he's got security guards and people running and catching him, keeping him from falling in the water. That's hilarious. Awesome. But the energy was completely different. So yeah, man, like 10 out of 10, it's absolutely needs to be on your bucket list. Probably the coolest just sports venue I've ever been to.
Man, I got hungry too. All that food sounded good too.
Oh my dude. Like, and the thing is, like, we would go up, there's 4 of us. We'd go up there, we would just check out all at once to make it easier. And the most expensive it ever was like $33. And we were getting beers, like 2 sandwiches a piece, cookies, chips, ice cream. Like the most it ever was like $33 for 4 people.
They know their bread is buttered in that pro shop.
Absolutely. $16,000 a minute is wild.
That's crazy math. That's you said that and I was like, I think he messed up. I got
the article on my phone. 10 million a day, 16,000 a minute that thing's open. Wild.
Let's talk about what I'm not going to be doing this weekend. Spending $10 million a day. You know what I would do? Well, I was about to say buy a sports. You can't buy a sports team with. I would spend my $10 million and build a time machine and go back and buy a sports machine. I'm gonna stop talking. The weekend outlook. That's where I need to start. I need to start learning. I need to learn a Val Kilmer impersonation. And
you can just do the Doc Holliday. That one's a good one.
I'm not ready. Don't put me on. See, you do it. I panicked on the spot. I was
Johnny
like,
Ringo.
Yeah, there you go. Insert dead celebrity impersonation here. The weekend outlook. We are talking about what we're doing this weekend. I can go first. I'm going to be watching basketball tonight and Sunday. I'm going to be watching a lot of sports this weekend, in all honesty, just with last day of the season, standings mattering as much as they are. Because it's all, God, this weekend's going to determine whether or not we get a break from basketball next week and can take it easy until, it's just, there's a lot going on. I'm not doing anything fun this weekend. I don't think I am. I'm actually, this is going to be my last. So we're starting to ramp up spring. We got stuff coming every weekend after this, whether it's concerts. I've got a concert at the Ryman I'm going to next weekend, going camping the weekend after that, going to see the Nashville Symphony do the Star on May 4th. They're doing the Star Wars music. I'm going to go see that. So I got stuff lined up this weekend. This is my last chill weekend. Yeah. And man, with all the weather we had last weekend, I'm planning on just hibernating inside and watching a lot of sports, watching the Masters, watching everything I possibly can, sponging and just like soaking it in.
Love it. Yeah, so kind of the same. I don't have a ton of plans this weekend. We traveled this week. We flew out like Tuesday at like 11:15, and we got back yesterday at like 3 p.m. So it was barely a 48-hour trip to Augusta. So it was just like go. shout out to Lauren and Stacy Massey for letting us stay with them. Had a great time and for the invite. So this weekend, I ain't doing a whole lot of anything. Maggie and I've got brunch plans tomorrow. One of her friends is in town, so we're going to have brunch in the morning. I'll probably go to the gym. I'll watch the Masters. I need to mow a little bit, do some yard work, which I do enjoy.
I do too.
Again, my favorite beer is that post-yard work beer where you're covered in grass clippings. You just finish up mowing. You crack open that cold beer. That's the best beer, hands down, in my opinion.
You know what? You just struck a nerve. It's mowing weekend. It is mowing weekend. I don't drink. It's mowing weekend, though, man. It is mowing weekend.
We'll crack you open like a cold Coke, lemonade? Cold something. Yeah, something. Like lemonade. Yeah.
Cold Sprite. Yeah. I like cold Sprite.
There you go.
It makes me burp.
I'll say this. At the Masters, the best thing I had was their lemonade. It was very tart. Like you could kind of feel it up in here. It was like it was really fresh, good lemonade. Yeah. Yeah, Wayno. Apparently there's a dog park that I just found out about, like right down the road from my house, the Sea Island Dog Park. May take Shelby there this week and let her run around, stretch her legs a little bit. So always making time for my Shelby girl for sure.
Yeah, dog weekend. That's dogs and lawns. We're gonna have a dog and lawn weekend. And there's T's and P's, D's and L's, or L's and D's. I don't know.
I love it.
We're workshopping it.
We're workshopping it.
We're workshopping it. We'll get back. Also found out I have a sound effect for the standings report. We're not going to do it right now because apparently I don't want to scare myself. I get scared when I try things. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We're going to do it.
We're going to do this together. This is a family safe space.
All right, everybody ready? So future reference the standings report. Okay.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that
either. It doesn't make me feel as insane as I was expecting. It's not like that one time where there was that tone that just played the whole time, and I thought I was losing my mind. But I digress.
Or like a little behind the scenes here. A lot of times when we get out of the studio, one of us will still have the music playing, and the other one starts talking, and we're just like, "Yeah, 1 minute, one moment," and then it finally quits, and it's like, "Hey, like, hey, like you're muted." Like, no, I'm still listening to the music.
We have fun here. That's gonna do it for our show today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good weekend, everybody. Be safe. Please like the show. Subscribe, Love City Media. Go watch the Grizzlies this weekend. They're gonna need our support.
Lots of it.
Got a what we said was a scheduled loss earlier in the season tonight, and got a game against the Mavericks on Sunday. Let's go support our guys. Gear up for the playoffs. Have a good weekend. Be safe. If we can leave you with anything like we do, remember these two things. Remember to be a little weird, just a little bit, and remember to smile. Bye, guys. Have a good one. We will see you on Monday.